Hey Year 5 and maybe some Year 6, we've got spelling and grammar for the week. So our spelling for the week, we're going to do a recap of the patterns we've learnt over our home learning time. If you want to pause the video and look back at some of the spellings you've done, you can to remind yourself, or if you just want to go straight for the check and then any you're not sure of, you can use for your own spelling log to help you practice more and more of the ones you're not sure of. Okay, I'm going to do a bit like a spelling test. I'm going to read you the word and then the sentence and then the word again, and you have a go at writing that key word. It will be one of these spelling rules, either ANCE or ENCE, IE or EI, CIOUS or TIOUS, SC words and ATE words. That should give you a good clue if you're not sure which one you're going for. Okay. Spelling 1. The word is audience. The audience listen to the speech carefully. The word is audience. Spelling 2. The word is receipt. The shopkeeper handed Jane the receipt. The word is receipt. Spelling 3. The word is communicate. You need to communicate your ideas clearly. The word is communicate. Spelling 4. The word is vicious. The vicious dog growled from behind the fence. The word is vicious. Spelling 5. The word is evidence. The evidence was heard by the judge. That's also a passive voice sentence. The word is evidence. Spelling 6. The word is precious. Gold is a precious metal. The word is precious. Spelling 7. The word is disturbance. There was a disturbance in the street. The word is disturbance. Spelling 8. The word is ancient. In the corner sat an ancient trophy covered in dust. The word is ancient. Spelling 9. The word is cautiously. The children crossed the road cautiously. The word is cautiously. And spelling 10 is a double whammy. The words are scientist and fascinated. The scientist was fascinated by what he had found. The words are scientist and fascinated. Okay, I'm now going to show you how you spell those words. You mark for yourself, pause the video, and any that you got wrong, you might want to go back and have a look at that spelling rule again and try and practice them a bit more. So pause the video and have a go at marking. Our grammar for today, we're going to have a look at direct and reported speech. In your newspaper work before half term, you practice direct and reported speech. Remember, reported speech could also be called indirect speech. Here's a reminder of how they work. Have a quick read. So in direct speech, you use the speech marks to say what's actually being said. In reported or indirect speech, you tell someone that someone has spoken, but you don't write it as if they're directly speaking. When we're writing direct speech, we need to use our speech rules, so here's a reminder of how they work. We have speech marks, or inverted commas they're sometimes called, at the start and the end of the words that are actually being said. Your speech should always start with a capital letter, and there should be some sort of punctuation inside the closing speech mark. Every time there's a new speaker, you need a new line. If you're starting by saying who spoke first, for example, Paul whispered, you'd have a comma and then what they said. If there's no other punctuation, like no question mark or exclamation mark, then you need to have a comma after what they've said before the closing speech mark. Speech marks can be called inverted commas or quotation marks. They all mean the same thing. So let's have a practice. Pause the video and have a go at working out which of these sentences uses inverted commas correctly. In this first one, the second one uses inverted commas correctly. It has a comma to say who said it. It has speech marks. It has a capital letter. It has punctuation inside the closing speech marks, and it has closing speech marks. In the second question, the third one is punctuated correctly. Again, it has speech marks, capital letter, punctuation inside the closing speech mark, and closing speech marks. On this question, they're asking you to add the inverted commas. Remember, inverted commas, speech marks, go around what's actually being said. Pause the video and have a go at where you think they'd go. So on this first question, Maya whispered, and this is what she's actually saying. I can see a baby hedgehog. I'm not going to close my speech marks there because she's still speaking. Keep quiet so we don't scare it. Full stop. And the punctuation goes inside the closing speech mark. Let's have a look at this one. Wait a minute. Don't I know you from somewhere? Said Mark. So he's saying the whole thing. I know a common mistake is some people put one set of speech marks here and another one here. You don't need those speech marks in the middle because he's still speaking. And the punctuation goes inside the closing speech marks. Laura said, comma, I know what we'll do. We'll go to the cinema. All of this is what Laura's saying. So Laura said, I know what we'll do. We'll go to the cinema. And that full stop should be inside your closing speech marks. Is that my bag? Asked Daniel. I thought I'd lost it. So two separate bits Daniel is saying. Is that my bag? And then he doesn't say ask Daniel, so I need to close my speech marks. And then I need to reopen them because he's speaking again. I thought I'd lost it. This time there's no punctuation. I'm going to have an exclamation mark. And then my closing speech marks. This time they're asking you to rewrite something as direct speech. Tommy told me that he was cold. If Tommy was speaking to me and he was telling me that he was cold, what might he say? Probably something like, I am cold. So let's have a go. I need speech marks, capital letter. I am cold. That's the end of what he's saying. I need a comma inside my speech marks, and speech marks, said Tommy. I am cold, said Tommy. You might have put I'm cold, said Tommy, or I'm really cold, or Tommy said, comma, I'm cold. Have a go at the other ones, pause the video and think about what you might do to turn them into direct speech. For the second question, Samantha asked if I would like a new jumper. You'll probably have speech marks, capital letter, would you like a new jumper? Question mark, closing speech marks, Samantha asked. Scarlett said to me it was her turn next. You'll probably have opening speech marks, capital letter, it's my turn next. You might have an exclamation mark or a comma, closing speech marks, Scarlett said. Jimmy asked, oh, it's going to be a question. Jimmy asked if Kevin would like to go to the park. Speech marks, capital letter. Would you like to go to the park? And you might have Kevin or not have Kevin. Would you like to go to the park? Question mark, closing speech marks. Jimmy asked or asked Jimmy. Sarah asked if she could have a drink. Speech marks, capital letter, you might have can or could. Can I have a drink? Question mark, closing speech marks, Sarah asked. It's really important when you're turning it into direct speech that you still remember all the punctuation and the speech rules, otherwise your answer won't be correct. You've got lots of home learning to do, I know, Year 5s, and you've been doing a fantastic job so far. Keep going, you're working really hard and you've got this. See you soon.